In my car this morning, and yes, we're doing football. I'm talking about the Colts. I can't resist. Sorry if you're just a basketball person, but I was driving in my car, like, sitting in traffic, trying to listen and like watch this game out of the side of my eye while I was driving, and I remember like being stopped at a red light or parking and watching Anthony Richardson do this, and and the scream I scrumped, like I can't remember getting that large an injection of serotonin into my fucking bloodstream that I have watching Anthony Richardson slip on this shitty turf, roll to his right, launch it 70 fucking yards in the air to Alec Pierce for a touchdown. Like, this is not fucking real. This is not real. The Texans run quarters, and you do beat quarters with a post, but usually not this deep, right? And yeah, I was right about Alec Pierce. I tried to tell y'all. This video is partly inspired by some guy who commented on my Alec Pierce video from last year, like, this is so vindicated, or like never wrong, just early. And dude, Alec Pierce was so riffing awesome today. I'm very happy to see it. For those who don't know, I'm a Colts fan. More casual football enjoyer, but like, Anthony Richardson makes me feel things that, like, makes me feel the way that, like, the peak of Andrew Luck made me feel. Later in the game, Richardson hit another crazy fucking post shot to Alec Pierce, who is a legitimately awesome 1v1 ball winner. He's not a great receiver outside of that, but when you have a sick fuck like Anthony Richardson at quarterback who will outthrow your coverage no matter what you do, Alec Pierce is going to eat off of that. It's another post route to beat quarters coverage, right? It's like a very classic quarters beater. You have post going this way. Oftentimes you have like an underneath guy to try to occupy the safety. It doesn't really work, but it's like, yeah, we're just gonna bomb it to the opposing 20. Our 6'3", big contested catch guy is gonna go up and get it, and we have a quarterback to enable that. Richardson was not perfect in this game, we'll get to it, but he carried the fuck out of the Colts and willed them to near victory in a game they had no business being in otherwise. Like, how many quarterbacks in the league can throw with this kind of zip into this kind of window? They try I think Colts film on Twitter tweeted like a Miami style concept, right? This like zoom motion into like a deep dig with a clear out. The timing is pretty off from everyone. Like, all the receivers don't really seem to like work. Like, Doolin has enough space, and Richardson maybe throws this a tad late. Like, you kind of want Richardson to throw this like right when Doolin is breaking here, but I mean, then again, the safety is still kind of, or this guy in the middle, so there, just the zip to get that ball there. Doolin catches it and runs for a touchdown. Like, Richardson carried the Colts to a very close game against a legitimate Super Bowl contender in the Houston Texans when their front was getting killed on both sides of the ball. It was really weird. The play calling was kind of bad, and this angle sucks because you can't see the throw, but I more like it just because you can see Richardson's incredible pocket movement. That's nothing new. We knew that Richardson has phenomenal feel in the pocket, steps to his right with, the guy kind of bearing down on him, and just throws an absolute laser for a touchdown. That's along with the arm, what makes Richardson special. And then you have the fucking run game where he really is Cam Newton. Like, this is just Cam Newton. I don't know what to tell you. I think Richardson was encouraging in terms of not taking hits in this game, which we'll get to, but 4th and goal, down 9 in the fourth quarter, gotta have it situation. How many players in the league score from this position? This is a broken play, right? They're trying to just throw out like a couple crossers, like maybe with the sit down classic like mesh pick concepts and in the red zone with a little wheel-ish at the weak side. But Richardson's like, yeah, there's nothing. And like I said, not very many quarterbacks in the league running through defenders like Richardson does. Like, this is like the level, like Cam Newton, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson level carry job as a runner that ascends you into that like 1A elite game breaking franchise level quarterback. And of course, Richardson, like, juking a guy out there. People were like headhunting Richardson. I swear to God, maybe I'm just a biased Colts fan, but like, I'm surprised that wasn't called late hit out of bounds. Like, right into the helmet as well. And like, Richardson was getting lit up, and it really is like, a bunch of people have tweeted Cam Newton rules. How do you officiate a guy this enormous, right? And explosive. But great example here of the Colts running what looks like a little zone read here. Richardson sees the defensive end pinch. He keeps the ball, and it's 3rd and 2. He's easily got the speed to break it to the outside. He's like, I'm not taking a hit. I'm getting out. I'm not getting more than I need to do, which is smart and what we need to see. And of course, Richardson's ability to scramble from a collapsing pocket. And was this a slide? Yes, this was so sick. He slid. I was so happy when I watched this. I'm like, Andrew Luck. It took Andrew Luck like 7 years or 5 years or whatever to learn how to slide. And Richardson's doing it on his 5th start. And he needs to. I don't know how sustainable this is, even though I wish the Colts ran more designed runs for Richardson. But again, we see he feels the pocket collapsing. And unlike most 22-year-old quarterbacks, right? A lot of guys like bail out right here, but Richardson's like confident enough to keep staring at his reads, wait for the pocket to collapse, check another read. Pittman's not open, or I think Pittman did kind of get open, and maybe you could argue Richardson waited, but when Richardson felt the pressure, Pittman wasn't open, runs through a wide open gap, and yeah, just in terms of pure value, pure like EPA stuff, not factoring in long-term injury, that's like basically the best you can get. And the Colts are just so good at setting up like I said, this was a weird play calling game for the Colts. Like I saw on Twitter like they used like pre-pass motion at like a bottom 10 rate, which was super weird and uncharacteristic for Steichen based on what we saw last year. And they did like a lot of just like straight drop back shotgun play action stuff, which I didn't really love. But like when it's good, it's really good. Like you've got the clear out motion right here. You've got Granson pulling across. Again, Richardson keeps with the zone read, and it's just like, how do you? Okay, another headhunting moment right here. Like this guy just flying, nearly missing Richardson's. Like this is like 2 concussions, inches from 2 concussions, and like. I don't know. Like, I guess you can't really throw a flag for that since he kind of tackled his own guy, but it's just, I don't know. Pisses me off that this is just like how Richardson's being treated. And maybe it's just like the nature of a guy that big, but it's still annoying to me as a fan. I really love this like veer middle keep, right? Where this defensive end stays home outside. So the gap's going to be where on like the A or B gap or whatever. I don't know. And Richardson, again, like has the burst to squeeze through these cracks and make big plays with his legs. And the negatives showed up, right? The accuracy, like it was sub 50% completion. Like it was the most ridiculous box score ever. Like top 6, like 0.2 EPA, 2 touchdowns, like 1 billion yards on 9 completions, and like negative 40 like the completion percentage over expected. And yeah, like like you want to have these plays back, right? AD Mitchell just smokes this defender. I'm so fucking hyped about AD Mitchell. Smokes this defender, and like it's just an inch out of reach. And I think everything else on this play is great. Like the little shoulder pump there to fool this kind of. The Texans play a really aggressive defense, so the Colts did try to counter that with a lot of double moves and out and ups and stuff. Pressure bearing down. He's not panicking. He throws the ball with good anticipation, good decision. It's just ball placement's a little bit too out in front. Maybe you can argue that's more on the receiver. And here's the pick from that I saw people kind of talking about, and it does seem like a pretty clear, like not great throw, but also like accuracy wise. But it does look like Granson absolutely slipped, and we'll see that better from the end zone angle in a second here. Yeah, where Granson like. Right there, he stumbles and the ball just goes, a hair over his head. And I think it's easy to argue if Granson doesn't stumble, then that's a perfectly placed ball and a catch. So I think it's unfortunate that's going to happen, especially when you have a guy with Richardson's kind of velocity, which he absolutely needs to tone down. But I don't think this is like a bad play or anything. I think it's the right decision. He reads this little, like, I believe it was like a slot fade. He reads the slot fade, doesn't like what he sees, comes back to the middle against man. Crosser is a man beater. Granson gets open. He makes the right read. The ball placement is good. It's just an unfortunate outcome. It's like, this is my example. Like the Colts play calling was so weird. There were a lot of penalties that didn't help things. They got behind on down and distance a lot of the time. But it wasn't like there weren't as many RPOs as last year. It wasn't as much like quick game. It was very opposite of that Jags game, which I think I have a video on, where there's a lot of Richardson just like straight drop back play action, max protect, or, we multiple helpers, and we're just going to run deep routes. And Richardson, this is also like a weird play. Like, I don't really know exactly. Like, it was just like outpost against cover 3, and maybe the play design was more to like wait, because this corner has outside leverage, so it's probably like you wait, hope MPJ can get open, but no one's really open. Richardson has pressure bearing down on him, and he just kind of rips it out of bounds. And this is more of my like weirdly disappointed, like did not expect this from Steichen based on what we've seen from him last year, obviously, and in Philly. And I'm not like so worried long term about it. And there was this play where like it kind of looked like Richardson like missed a couple pretty open guys right here. That's one of like the lesser examples of like the maybe awareness under pressure, but he was under pressure a lot this game. Like the Colts offensive line was pretty disappointing. Like this Texans D line, which is a very good D line, right? They have Anderson, they signed Hunter, like their like interior guys are solid. I can't think of his name from the Jags, and I think Linval Joseph or someone like that. But point being, like Anthony Richardson had to carry today. Like he was, or yesterday, I guess, when I'm making this. Like he was under pressure all the time. He was not getting help from his supporting cast and his coaching the way that maybe you kind of hope and expect from this Colts team. And there are some plays that are all him. Like this miss early in the game, I think 4th down, they call up a little just ISO hitch, right? ISO like 10-yard curl to AD Mitchell. He gets open and AR sails him. Like that's just the footwork isn't good. That needs to improve, no question about it. But I think the fact that Anthony Richardson can have plays where he like misses badly in a key down, right, or has these boneheaded kind of moments as in terms of like wild accuracy and stuff like that, and still be definitively wildly positive, very good sign. And there were some like impressive throws out of his 9 completions, right? I particularly enjoy this one where Richardson immediately gets pressure from the middle. Dude, Will Anderson is such a fucking monster. Or is that Hunter? I don't know. Whoever this is smokes Braden Smith with interior spin move. Richardson immediately flushed out to his right, keeps his eyes downfield, rips it to Michael Pittman Jr. settling between the zones. Like, this is the elite creation out of structure stuff. And there was, this throw underneath, which credit to Alec Pierce, man, what a fucking catch. Yeah, Anthony Richardson needs to learn how to tone it down a little bit. Like, this zip is not sustainable, and like Pierce is a guy who probably enjoys this fucking challenge, like, because these are all sick football players. But yeah, Richardson needs to slow the ball down at times. Like, we know he can sling it a gazillion miles an hour. It's going to be important to him to throw a more catchable ball. It's always tough because it's like, even when he throws on target, it's like you should be catching that. You're an NFL receiver, but it's not like the easiest thing in the world. But again, have to give him credit for like quote unquote hitting the layups here, layups and threes, as my guy like Zach Hicks and them, like Colts people were talking about. And then he hits this little out route, right? Like the Colts were again just sitting in a lot of straight drop back, kind of hits the top of his drop, immediately lets it go, perfectly on target, right in front of the first down marker. So there was some like flashes of on target stuff, but I just want to watch this throw again. I just like feel happy feelings in my stomach when I watch this throw. Oh my lord, I really can't believe that it happened and that Anthony Richardson looks like this. Like there's plenty to worry about and to criticize, right? Like the accuracy wasn't great. There was some decision making stuff, but overall, like, even given the weaknesses and given how like weirdly disappointing a lot of the Colts stuff was, which that aside, I think I'm defensive line, trenches in general, like gotta be better. That was like something we didn't expect to be this much of an issue. But the fact that your 22-year-old quarterback in his 5th career start is doing legitimate carry jobs with his arm and with his legs, like throwing like an 87-yard touchdown every possession. And the defense hopefully will get better as the offense can figure things out and command the time of possession more and not have the defense forced to be out there for like 40 minutes or 35 minutes or however long it was. But yeah, very happy with Richardson's performance. Obviously losing sucks, but it's the Colts. They're always going to lose in week 1. I'm not like particularly surprised. And it's the Texans are rightfully called a Super Bowl contender by many, one of the best teams in the league, let alone like AFC, let alone the entire NFL. And the Colts went toe to toe with them in a game where they did not play well. Like, this was not a buttoned up, dominant, balanced affair. It was Anthony Richardson being a superhero. And that's not good. That's not sustainable in terms of like winning this year, but it is an incredible sign for Anthony Richardson's future development. Like I don't know, he's gonna be so incredible, and like the shit that he can already do paired with like his innate feel and how easy or not, I'm not gonna say easy, but how fixable his issues should be in terms of the accuracy. We've seen it happen so many times over the last 10 years, it feels like. So I'm gonna stop rambling. I love Anthony Richardson. Basketball content will be back soon.